It's kind of hard to talk to you right now. It's sort of tough to figure this all out. Through the fog of all my tears, the culmination of my fears has come to drag me to this sobering truth. This is real life. I am still me, and you are still you. I'm questioning my faith and I don't care. Oh God, it hurts to even breathe in this despair. And I can't say it'll be okay. How could you bring me here this way? You love me so you say, but I am hurting. This is real life. If you're faithful, I am
Well, I hope you had a wonderful week and much time with Daddy Abba. I am praying right now that your time with him has begun changing you. It does that. It just does. And last week we talked about God's perfect plan and our Savior's suffering and sacrifice. And this week I want to talk about why. And it's because we need him. We need redemption. I spoke some last week about that we're a mess without him. And so therefore we need him. We need to have a Savior in our life that we can follow and we can turn to. David in the 23rd Psalm said, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me along a righteous path. He takes me to still waters. He prepares a table amongst my enemies." And I think that's a beautiful psalm. But because I'm not a sheep herder, I didn't really know the significance of that psalm. And I made reference to God's psychiatry, and Charles Allen really breaks down what sheep herding is and what the 23rd Psalm really is making reference to. Margaret Feinberg does a great job in talking about sheep herding and scouting the divine. And it gives us a really good depiction of why we even need a good shepherd. And I love the fact that we can spend time in the Word. I love the fact that the Word has so much meaning to us now, even though it was written in the 6th century. I love that. But the truth of the matter is, there are references that are made that were very appropriate for that time, not this time. And the 23rd Psalm being one of them. Many of the things that Jesus made reference to don't have clear significance to us. And so it does help that as we spend time here, then we also spend time trying to understand exactly what this means. So I've spoken about, if you really want to get to know Daddy Abba, spend time with Daddy Abba in the Word. And I don't want to sound contradictory by suggesting, okay, now get out of the Word and read other books. But because I'm not a theologian, my degrees are not in Bible study or not in religion. I will allow others who have spent a lot more time studying the behind the scenes of the Bible. I will spend time reading from and getting wisdom from them to better understand this. So going to the 23rd Psalm and really understanding the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And really being able to allow ourselves to see Christ for us, how he is as a shepherd. A really good shepherd, leads his sheep, because sheep are not considered, they're not really dumb animals, they're just defenseless animals. And we certainly are not dumb animals. We are defenseless against the enemy being Satan. That's our true enemy. And I want to stop right here for just a minute. I'll pick back up on sheep herding. But whether you believe in the enemy or not, the enemy believes in you, and he's real. So understand that there is a war being waged, and it's not of this world. It's in a spiritual realm. So we need a good shepherd. We need a good shepherd because we are sheep, defenseless against our enemy. And our good shepherd takes care of us. He's tender with us. I love the fact that he maketh me lie down in green pastures, that he brings us to resting place. Sheep are not, they don't have a real sophisticated digestive system. So when they eat and they're grazing and stuff, they've been eating, their digestive system doesn't properly digest that. So the shepherd has to cause the sheep to lie down and rest, so that basically they can go through this digestive process. If they were to go straight to drinking water after grazing, then they would, it would almost turn into cement in their gut. It wouldn't be processed. So they have to, the shepherd has to give them rest. We have to have rest. Then the shepherd prepares the waters to be still. If it's a running stream, he blocks it up so it's still waters, because sheep will wander into the water and their wool will get heavy and they'll drown. So the shepherd prepares all this for us, and our job is to follow him. He does lead us on safe paths, the safest paths going to the destination he has us. Some of the paths, although they're the safest paths, might be pretty treacherous. But he's with us. He's with us. And I love that. I love that about our shepherd. I love recognizing that I'm a lamb who has an enemy who really is like a lion wanting to pounce, and that I'm most vulnerable to the enemy when it comes to my shame or my pride. The enemy will use one or two of those things for me, shame and pride, to suck me in to very dangerous places, wandering away from my shepherd. What I love about my shepherd is he has this staff that always pulls me back, because I'm a wanderer. I'm a little lamb, and I need that shepherd that will pull me back in. And this enemy that really plays on my shame, the shame of my past. My enemy wants to put a spotlight on all my wrongs. And at this point, you may be really identifying with that because the enemy may be really having a spotlight on your past. A spotlight that's so bright on all the things you did wrong that they look huge. They might look so huge to you that they seem bigger than what the cross could cover. The enemy lies and he distorts. And he really does want you to buy in to that your transgressions, what you've done wrong, is so bad that Jesus' blood doesn't cover it. That's what the enemy wants you to believe. Ironically, he's turned it into a pride issue. And you might be saying, what? Wait a minute. I don't have any pride. I am so unworthy. If I begin to believe that I am so bad, or what I've done is so bad, it's so much bigger than what my Savior can cover, then I've just made myself a God. I've just said, I've created something so big that God can't even take care of it. Not even possible. Not even possible. Not even possible. Breathe that in. There is not one thing you could have done so bad that his blood doesn't cover it all, every ounce of it. And you say, well, I've denied him. Guess what? Peter denied him 3 times. Peter denied him 3 times. Jesus, before he went to the cross, said, Peter, you will deny me 3 times before the crow does whatever the crow does. I've lost the word, so that's okay. So you will deny me 3 times. And Peter goes, no, I won't. I would never do that. But guess what? When Jesus was arrested, do you know how afraid those disciples were? And I don't blame them. They were so afraid. And Peter was so afraid. And somebody came to him and said, weren't you with that Jesus guy? And Peter said, no. Somebody else says, yeah, I think I saw you. He says, no. Somebody else says, yeah. And he says, no. And then the crow. And right at that time, Jesus looked. He turned around and looked at Peter. Can you imagine the shame and the guilt Peter felt? Seeing Jesus, his rabbi, going through what he was going through. And he realized, I did deny you. But you know what I know Jesus did? He looked at him with compassion. And remember, he was on the cross. And he said, forgive them, they know not what they're doing. And then when he rose again, and he came back, and he was sitting with Peter, you know what he did? He said, Peter, do you love me? Peter said, yes, you know I do. And Peter now knows that not only was Jesus his rabbi, Jesus was his Savior. And he's going, yes, I love you. And Jesus said, feed my sheep. And Jesus then asked, Peter, do you love me? Ask him a second time. Peter, do you love me? Yes, I love you. And Jesus said, feed my sheep. And he asked the third time, washing away those 3 denials. And Peter said, yes, I love you. And Jesus says, go, feed my sheep. So there is nothing that you've done so bad that Jesus' blood doesn't cover. And he looks to you and he says, do you love me? Do you recognize what I've done for you? Because I love you so much, and there's nothing you can do that will change that. And if you will come to me and say, yes, Rabbi Jesus, my Savior, my friend, I love you. He looks to you and says, okay, go feed my sheep. So our shame is washed clean, and our enemy has nothing on us because it's already been paid for. It's finished. It's done. Then we have our pride. If the shame factor doesn't work, then our enemy is going to try to get us with our pride. It's going to try to make us believe that somehow we're smarter than the Word, that somehow we're going to figure God out, that in fact God didn't really even mean what he meant, and that we come in and somehow we're going to have a better answer than God. We set up our own idols, and our own idols may be ourselves, our professions, our abilities, and some people are so smart and so capable. I like that I'm just not. So it's a lot easier for me. It really is. It's a lot easier for me just to say, I'm okay with not knowing. I'm okay with this childlike faith. I'm okay with being wrong. I'm used to that, really. So it doesn't bother me. Some people are more challenged with that because you are far more capable than I am. You're far smarter than me. You may be able to pick out all the grammatical errors and whatever part of me that has shown up, and you may be able to argue it and do a good job. And I'm all okay. Let's be my Haverin. Let's study this together and grow together, and I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. The devil, our enemy, wants to capitalize on that and not only make you think that you're smarter than me, but somehow make you think that you can outthink God. You can figure it all out. That's not true. That's not true. So we need a Savior. We are redeemed because we need to be redeemed from ourselves and from those things that cause us to wander away from our shepherd. He has a long hook, and he will pull us back in. But we're at a better place if we just stay in his sheepfold, resting in him.
When I'm full of anything but faith, you are